In the meantime, we're going to make the accompaniments for our dish. Okay, so first we're doing some buttered green beans. It's one of my absolute favorite things. It's just so simple. It's just butter and salt, pepper, and beans cooked in a pan. But if the beans are cooked properly, really well, really crunchy, you know what I'm talking about. It's just one of the simple pleasures of life. So I'm just going to be making that as a side, and thought I'll just show it to you. Okay, guys, great. So now that pesto is ready, beans are cooking, we're going to make the crust for the cauliflower. Okay, these are three simple ingredients: breadcrumbs, garlic, and cheese. Okay, now I've got some breadcrumbs. If you don't have ready-made breadcrumbs, you actually don't even need to buy it. If you have any leftover bread, you just dry that like out in the sun or in your oven, or even put it in your toaster. Basically, it needs to become hard and dried up, and then you blend it. Okay, so it becomes a nice powder. And then we've got some fried garlic. Now, fried garlic is something that I always keep handy. Okay, I use it for almost all of my dishes. And finally, we're going to use cheese. Now, with cheese, I'm lucky that I have some parmesan, so I'm using grated parmesan. But at this point, any cheese will do. Okay, so you put equal quantity of breadcrumb and cheese, and maybe just a little less of the garlic. Okay, so we basically blend it together, so it becomes like a dry mixture. I'm just going to add some more cheese. Okay, so now that this is done, we basically have our cauliflower. Okay, it's been in the oven for about 10 minutes. These are 4 pieces. So I know I told you 20 minutes, but what I meant to say is 10 minutes first, and then we're going to put on the crust, and then another 10 minutes. Okay, so this is how a crust looks. It's a nice brown mixture. So now we're just going to coat it. Wait, let me move the camera. I hope you can see. Okay, so we're just going to press it onto our cauliflower to make it look like a crust. Okay, so you want to get it all around so that it gets nice and crisp, and then when we put it back in the oven, it's actually going to be, can you see? Yeah, I hope you can see. Okay, so this is how it's going to look. Again, in the crust, you can add anything you want to add, any kind of seasoning, any dry herbs. We just have to make sure it doesn't burn, because we're going to put it back in the oven. Okay, and now our cauliflower is almost fully cooked, so we don't want to put it for a very long time, but we still have to put it back in the oven. So we want to make sure that it doesn't burn. Okay, so my beans are still cooking. Okay, so my beans are almost done. We're just going to keep it aside for our plating. This already looks so good. So I use this for a lot of my events. Like, it's one of the dishes that I serve up, and I've done it more than once. I've done it quite a few times, because I think cauliflower is absolutely underrated. And I love cauliflower anything. Cauliflower soup, just like roasted cauliflower, like fried, either way, okay? Like, I love cauliflower. So I just, I came across this recipe online, and I tried it once, and being like a heavy, not heavy, but like I like my meat, you know. So for me to actually really enjoy this dish was like, oh wow, like if I can enjoy it, then I think, you know, the vegetarian guests will also really enjoy it. So this is me. Okay, so let me just show it to you. So this is how it looks. Okay, we're just going to put it in the oven back for 10 minutes at 180. Okay, so now the deal with a cream sauce is that you can either decide to go the easy way, which is to actually just add cream along with your pesto. Or you can, if you want like something a little more homemade, wholesome, don't want to use processed stuff from a Tetra Pak, because let's face it, Amul cream, I'm not sure how much dairy there is in there, okay? But here I'm just looking for a quick fix right now, because I want something tasty but also not too difficult. So I'm gonna mix my pesto with cream, and I have my pesto cream sauce, okay? However, how you want to do it, if you want to make a white sauce or a bechamel, is extremely simple. There's a kind of ratio if you want to follow it. It's a 1:1:10 ratio of flour, butter, and milk. So you put your you put your butter first in the pan, allow it to melt, then you add in your flour, and then you just allow it to cook. That's called the roux, okay? R-O-U-X. It's a French word. So you just cook your roux. Make sure it doesn't become like extremely brown, but the flour has to cook in the butter. And then you start adding your milk slowly along with a whisk, or you can even use a wooden spatula or a silicone spatula. Make sure there are no lumps. How will you make sure is that you will add your milk slowly, okay? So you add probably 20 ml, make sure it's all incorporated, then add another 20 ml, like that, okay? So again, the ratio or the recipe is, if you say 10 grams flour, 10 grams butter to 100 ml milk. Okay, so that's what it is. If you want to go that route and not do cream, you can also do that. So I'm just going to show you the pesto cream now, but the shortcut way. Okay guys, so this has just come out of the oven. It is nice and crusty, okay, on the top. So we're just gonna plate up now with all our components. Okay guys, cool. So we're ready to plate now. I have a nice plate that I took out of the cupboard just because I felt like plating up for this video. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is plate the sauce first. So we've got the pesto sauce, and I'm just adding it in the center, probably spreading it a little bit. Okay, the next component is our cauliflower. Okay, so I'm just gonna take it and place it in one corner. Okay, so right now that's how it looks. And then I'm gonna take some beans and place it on the other side. Okay, it doesn't look too fancy, but I mean, that's okay. Okay, so this is how it's gonna look. Now, as you can see, it's very what's the word for it, monotone. Okay, so there's brown and green, but there is absolutely no red, which is very important to have like a color scheme going when you have a plate. Not a color scheme, like just to keep it a little colorful. So the only red thing I have right now is chili flakes. Okay, so I'm just gonna add the chili flakes from the top, so it goes all over, and I think we're done. Okay, so I'm going to take a picture of this and show it to you. Bye.